You are now listening to the show that's going to change your life.
The bank man and Gainz get a lot of love on Lock Up Yet you never thought at this time of the season we would say that.
What's up, Dan?
Yes! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! They did it!
Talking about him, and we will do a tribute to his favorite player. We will do that while you're on, so that will get him excited for the holidays.
Don't do it.
Well, we will.
I feel so bad.
Let's
I feel so bad for Brian that Brian has had to endure the Rob Diddy experience because Dennis and I have worked with some real classics in radio, but oh man, this guy takes the cake, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
I agree.
He does. Hey, Matt, let's talk about the Lions here. They get their first win, and then they go out to Denver here, and not a lot. Like Craig Reynolds, like the running back. I'm like, who's this guy? So I mean, they got down 14-0, and we just need to get these remaining games out of the way and get to the off season where the excitement will begin. That's the way I'm looking at it. What about you?
No, I agree, Dennis. I mean, I think that these last few games are I'm not going to say useless, but let's be honest. Let's talk about Sunday, for example. We want the Lions to lose. You don't want to win and risk the draft pick and moving down. And then the Cardinals are a team you're rooting to win so that they can keep the Rams out of better playoff positioning and a worse draft pick for you. So this is one of those weeks, and I'm not usually Mr. Tank guy, but this is one of those weeks you look at it and say, let's let the Lions lose this one. And with Roby Coleman going out today with COVID, they're decimated in the secondary. They got that first win out of the way. I don't see another win. Do you guys? The rest of the way, it's going to be very difficult.
No, I don't see a win at all. I mean, you're looking at teams like Jacksonville and stuff like that. They have opportunities to maybe win one or two more games, like same with the Houston Texans. But looking at the Lions' schedule, like going to Atlanta, all that type of stuff, playing the Cardinals this week, I don't see another win. And thankfully, Matt, you can come to our side and just say, look, I want them to lose. I don't want any more winning for the rest of the year. I don't want to see anything good happen on the field, really. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do not see the Lions winning another game. It's going to be a 1-15-1 type year.
Isn't that incredible, Brian? Because you look at the start of the season and you say it's almost impossible in this day and age of the NFL to not win at least 3 or 4 games. And I said at the start of the year on Locked On Lions that I thought, all right, 4-13, nothing wrong with that. You want to see improvement. You want to see some guys get better. You want to find some diamonds in the rough like Jerry Jacobs, maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown, guys like that. Hey, Evan Brown has been tremendous as a backup center, now starting center. So you have some depth there for next year and a guy that you would bring back, even Charles Harris to an extent. But it hasn't been good enough to win enough games. And Dan Campbell, and I know Aiden Hutchinson made the point to Adam Schefter today, Dan Campbell seems like a great guy, but he's made too many mistakes. And those coaching blunders can't happen next year or the year after. So he's not going anywhere. Obviously once we saw the locker room video of him picking Sheila up and lifting her up into the rafters there.
It's like they won the Super Bowl.
And he's not going anywhere. Yes, absolutely. Well, it kind of was their Super Bowl, but Atlanta on the road, Seattle, Green Bay, Arizona, it's going to be very difficult to scratch another win. You're right about that.
Go ahead, Adrian.
I was gonna say I did say about a month ago that maybe Atlanta, but Atlanta's playing actually pretty well right now. They went and beat Carolina. Jared Goff, I seen your tweet the other day, Brian, about Jared Goff doesn't realize how bad he is. So it's just, I just don't see this team get another win. They do need the number 1 draft pick. I got to see better from Dan Campbell when it comes to making better time clock management, especially with most of these coaches around the league who just debacle the clock. But we knew coming in, being decimated with injuries, that they had no shot against Denver. You just need to see some development from these guys. But they will ultimately get the number 1 pick, I believe, and will coach the Senior Bowl as well. So,
well,
Senior Bowl would not be a bad thing for them because there's some quarterbacks that they have got to take a good long look at that Senior Bowl. And
what do you think?
I see Brian shaking his head. None of them are any good. I'm with you, Brian.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to take one. Not at
Who do you think they would take, Matt? Who do you think they would take, Matt?
Well, McShay said today Sam Howell, but I watched Sam Howell this year for Carolina, and he's small. He's not even they list him at 6'1". When they list a quarterback at 6'1", that means he's more like 6'1.5 feet. He's okay, but he took a beating this year behind that Tar Heel offensive line. None of these guys wow me. Malik Willis would be fun, but he's 2 or 3 years away. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
And just looking at the quarterbacks too, when you're looking at these mocks now, nobody's going to like 10, 11, 12, 13. There's just you can't take a quarterback in this type of year, especially with how bad you are. You're married to Jared Goff. Like this is the year where your 2 first-round picks and your first second-round pick, which I believe is at pick 33. I could be off, but I think it's somewhere right in there. Those 3 guys are starters right away. You got to bring in some guys, hopefully on defense, because the offense is going to be bad regardless with Goff on their center. So you might as well just go defense. I would have no problem going 2 defensive ends in the first round, or a linebacker and Aiden Hutchinson or Thibodeau or something. Just you can't take a quarterback this year.
They need to take one at some point, though. This is I don't know about first round, but this organization has notoriously not drafted quarterbacks. This past year, I can't believe Brad Holmes didn't take somebody developmentally so that we didn't have to watch the Tim Boyle experience. Sitting here saying, "Oh, please put David Blau in the Pittsburgh game." Get out of here! Like, there's a reason that kid doesn't see the field. So they have to take one. The question is where. And like you said, Brian, I think that if it's not in that first round, but McShay mocked 5 in the first round today, but none of them wow me. I mean, even Kenny Pickett, other than the fake slide, he had some very iffy games at Pitt. This is not a great quarterback draft. This is not the Eli Manning, Phil Rivers draft. It's not the Peyton Manning draft. And of course, it's typical that the Lions. It's typical that the Lions are at that point where they look like they're going to get the number 1 pick, and this is one of the worst quarterback drafts we've seen.
Yeah, hey, when Pickett lights up that Michigan State secondary, people will be, talking about taking him. I disagree with Brian. I think with that second pick, I mean, you have that. You get, if you take a guy in the first round, you get that extra year with him to develop. But really, if you get a guy like Malik Willis, you got to be able to figure out he's not going to play much next year, but you're sitting there. You should know you're going to be up towards the top of the draft next year where there's going to be a lot of good quarterbacks. I don't mind. You know what? Throw as much as you can at the quarterback position. If you get it right, that's what the key is. And they've got the extra pick here. I'd say go with one of those quarterbacks, on that pick in the 20s. Matt, tell us, you connect with the fans every day. What are they saying? Are they want to take a flyer, or are they more like Jelinek, who just say, let's wait till next year?
Well, I think first and foremost, what this fan base wants is, no, they don't want Alex Anzalone. Diddy. I think what they want Hutchinson first and foremost. Imagine, Dennis, and you have the pulse of Ann Arbor. Nobody knows Ann Arbor like Dennis Fithian. If they pass on Hutchinson, see, this will set the tone for the draft, right, Denny? If they take Thibodeau over Hutchinson, this fan base is going to go batshit crazy. Excuse my language. So they've got to get number 1 right before we talk about quarterbacks. But you're right; they have so many other holes. Like, for example. And I talk about this all the time, and I did this on the radio years ago. The Lions have all these players that are Lions good. Like Will Harris is Lions good. He's not good, but in our mind, he's Lions good. Tracy Walker, I think he's fine, but like they need a safety. I'd love Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. He'd be awesome, but they're not going to get 2 top 5 guys. They have major holes at linebacker. They have a major hole at wide receiver. So it's like, that's the thing. Like, you bring up a good point. If they're not enamored with these QBs, then you've got to take best player available because you have so many other holes, especially on the defensive side. And I think Aaron Glenn has done as best as he can do with this defense. But even the D line this week against Denver, the Onwuzurike McNeil Express got wrecked on Sunday, and those are 2 of your top 3 picks from this year.
All right, Dees, we want to give one thing to Diddy here before we have you move on. It's radio and podcasting legend. Nobody's connected to the Pistons more than Matt Dery, a professional in the radio business for 2.5 decades. So we do appreciate having him on here. Alex Anzalone, he's played the most snaps for the Lions, right? I mean, is he somebody? He's going to be a free agent. Is there a chance that they're going to bring the blonde warrior back?
Yes, the the golden locks of Alex Anzalone. And I know that's a Robert Banker favorite, but let's be honest here. Pro Football Focus despises him. His numbers have not been good. He's all or nothing. There's some games where he's flying around the field, and then there's some other times that he just is not in the right spot, wrong gap, wrong hole, wrong in coverage and in guarding the tight end. I think they can upgrade at linebacker, and I've been disappointed in Derek Barnes. Everybody loved the Derek Barnes pick. He's had his moments where he struggled. So I still would love to see a linebacker that can really be a beast. You watch some of these guys on some of these other teams like Javonte David. We watch what Micah Parsons is doing. I'm not telling you the Lions are going to find a market Micah Parsons in this draft, but they need to be better up the middle. I know Dan Campbell loves Alex Anzalone, and I would guess that the Gainz media poster boy will be back next year.
Hey, those guys can all go to a Metallica show together. It doesn't mean he has to be out on the football field. All right, these Locked On Lions.
They have so many holes.
You're talking to the Pistons all the time. Like, what else? I mean, is there anything else we could promote for you?
No. I appreciate you guys having me on. I watch when I can. I'm scrolling through Facebook, and all of a sudden you guys are on. I always check out what you're doing. There's not a nicer guy in this business than you, Dennis. And Brian, I don't know if you're related to Chris Jelinek or not, but that's my guy. I taught Chris at UD High for 3 years. He's a tremendous young man. Is he still at Michigan State?
He is at Michigan State. He's a junior, I believe, now. It's wild.
All right. I know
he's boycotting the show. He's boycotting the show because K9 didn't get invited to Downtown Athletic Club. So what can we do?
Here we go. I put that on the tee. I put that on the tee for Dennis. We'll break down Josh Gaddis. We'll break down Josh Gaddis's Broyles Award coming up next.
Yeah, well, he can't hear you with those rings in his ears. All right, Dees, we appreciate it. You're the best, man. Appreciate your time. There he is, Matt Dery.
Thank you, guys.
And we've got a star